Oh, it's scary. It really is. It was very nerve-wracking going down and coming back up, knowing that it was continuing to rise, and we were just saying prayers.
Also, parts of the North Shore are also seeing some impacts. Check this out. A lot of water there in this neighborhood. Video here from the Mandeville lakefront. You can see water from the lake is pushing onto the roadway, and that area does flood occasionally. In Mississippi now, there are nearly 200 streets experiencing flooding right now, from Bay St. Louis all the way to Waveland and Diamond Head, dozens of which are impassable right now. The police and fire departments, they're monitoring the situation, but they say the tidal issues is causing the water to rise even as we speak.
Meanwhile, to our west, Alberto is battering the coast of Texas while the governor is activating all personnel and resources to really help support communities that will potentially be impacted by excessive rains and flooding. Some neighbors even taking an extra layer of precaution based on the early storm damage, especially in places like Galveston where they're already seeing impacts.
It's definitely worse than I expected, or I'd have been gone, you know. So I should have been more prepared. And, you know, it's not even a hurricane.
Now we're going to keep you updated on Alberto as it's making its way through the Gulf on our free WDSU app, as well as our website.
Well, a babysitter says she found a hidden camera in a bathroom of a home, and the homeowner, who is a well-known air conditioning business owner, is now facing charges of video voyeurism. Police say the camera was disguised as a smoke detector. That babysitter reported the incident to police. Tonight, she talks exclusively to our WDSU reporter, Ariel Brumfield. Ariel, what did she tell you?
Well, you guys, I talked to Alyssa Glavin. She says she worked for Jonathan Bethencourt for several months. She says he was very inappropriate with her, and she was just caught off guard when she found that camera in the bathroom. Now, she says the Bethencourts actually hired her to nanny their 2-year-old daughter as well as their infant child. She says at times, Bethencourt will also be in the home with her as she watched the children. Glavin claims that Bethencourt would make flirtatious comments to her, invite her to hang out when his wife was away, and once he even kicked her in the butt when she walked by. She tells me she would often notice the closet propped open in the bathroom, which made her uncomfortable. As she bent down to grab something, she says that's when she saw the spy camera disguised as a smoke detector placed at crotch level. Glavin says she took the smoke detector off the wall and discovered the camera and SD card. She contacted Slidell police, who instructed her to not alert the parents, but to tell them that there was a medical emergency. Bethencourt shortly after sent these text messages to Glavin. Once he realized she found the camera, he bribed her with money and called her, admitting to being a pervert. We learned that he also had a camera in one of his properties in Orange Beach, Alabama, where authorities are also working with Slidell officials.
I feel like nannies need to know, to trust their gut, because I had a gut feeling he was weird, but I just blew it off because that was my job. That's how I provide for my daughter. Now I'm terrified that if I go into somebody else's home as a nanny, that something like this would happen again. I'm obviously wondering, where are these videos?
We also reached out to Bethencourt for a statement. We have not heard back. This investigation is ongoing, and we're also told that it's possible there are other victims. We did also learn that there was another nanny who was hired or employed by the Bethencourts. We're told she was actually hired her sophomore year of high school. She's now 18. Reporting here in Slidell, I'm Ariel Brumfield, WDSU News.
We're continuing to follow the investigation surrounding a Laranger mother and her daughter who were brutally murdered, especially who will take the lead on this investigation. Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox are both charged with capital murder and sexual battery. Last week, Callie Brunette was found dead in her home. Callahan is accused of abducting Brunette and her 2 daughters from their home and killing 4-year-old Erin Brunette. Her body was found in a wooded area in Jackson, Mississippi. Her 6-year-old sister was found alive. Many say this case will most likely be turned over to the feds, who will prosecute it first.
Because you cross state lines with that, it becomes a federal situation and a federal crime. So they'll have more resources, they'll have more ability to do the investigation, and it'll increase to a wider span.
We're expecting more details on the investigation next week during a joint news conference scheduled for Monday with Jackson Police.
Now, for several suspects who led police on a wild chase, what forced officers to open fire, and how you can help with the investigation.
And we're tracking Tropical Storm Alberto as it approaches the Texas coast right there. Meteorologist Derek Sibley is coming back with when it is expected to make landfall, but we should point out it is essentially not a real threat for southeast Louisiana.
And right now we're following breaking news on our roadways. A deadly traffic accident impacting traffic heading from New Orleans to Metairie. Miles of delay. It's going to take you an hour to get from the Crescent City Connection Bridge past the 610 merge here. We'll take a closer look at those detours coming up after the break.
Let's get back to the big story. We are continuing to track Tropical Storm Alberto, the first named storm of the season as it approaches Texas. We're seeing some impacts in southern Lafourche Parish right near Golden Meadow. You can see this video right here. Highway 1 flooding in some areas. We'll have much more on Alberto coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, today the first ever Juneteenth honor flight is touring Washington, D.C. in celebration of the African-American men and women who have served in America's armed forces throughout history. The visiting veterans served in World War II, the Korean War, or Vietnam. And White House correspondent Kayla Norwood met up with that group today with more.
More than 24 African-American veterans were honored in D.C. this Juneteenth, and while the trip was joyful for some, it brought back painful memories for others. On a holiday marking freedom from slavery,
it's just such a pleasure and privilege to be your captain this morning.
24 African-American veterans receiving a hero's welcome as they arrive in Washington, D.C. for the first Juneteenth honor flight. They're visiting national memorials from Martin Luther King Jr. to the Marine Corps War Memorial.
It's outstanding, because I haven't really been exposed to anything like this.
But for some who fought in combat, the trip is bittersweet.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the friends that lost their lives in Vietnam on the wall. So I'm looking forward to paying my respect.
Veteran Dennis Brazil says he was drafted into the Army and was among those who battled racism while serving.
It manifested itself on who was out in the jungle, if you will, doing the fighting,
and who was assigned to jobs in the rear, which is a little bit more safer assignments.
Outside the wire, there was one enemy, and then inside the wire, there's, you're having to fight some other stuff.
Historian and Honor Flight board member John McCaskill telling me that's one reason why it's important to honor black veterans.
Listen, all of these veterans have contributed to the country that we have today. They're a part of this national fabric, and that's just one of the reasons why you want to honor them.
McCaskill says it's also important for the next generation to see them and be inspired. In Washington, I'm Kayla Norwood.
All right, let's get a check of our first warning weather. Here is a live look at our tropical radar as we track Tropical Storm Alberto.
Yeah, not to mention some very quick moving storms. We just saw one just really blow through parts of the metro area.
Yeah, it's impacting Texas. Let's turn things over to meteorologist Derek Sibley with the exact track and when it's expected to make landfall. Derek?
Yeah, that's right, Travers. We're still keeping a close eye on it here. As you probably saw a glimpse of our radar showing the outer bands of Tropical Storm Alberto that continues to affect our weather here locally in southeastern Louisiana. And you can see we're under a bit of a pressure gradient too from two systems. Alberto to our southwest over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, an area of high pressure to our east, which is why we're looking pretty windy here right now. A bunch of showers and thunderstorms that continue to move across southeastern Louisiana with the outer effects here of Tropical Storm Alberto, which again is mainly down to our southwest. Still trying to get its act together right now before it makes landfall. Let's get to the latest specifics here on the outer effects here as well across Texas. Look at all of this. A lot of squally weather that continues to move onshore, again from the northern extent of Alberto, and really the main effects are going to be felt well away from the center, as this is a very large system that continues to develop across the western Gulf of Mexico. It's expected to make landfall in mainland Mexico overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning as a 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm, west-southwesterly, or moving west-southwest at around 9 miles an hour. And taking a look at the rest of the tropics, we're going to be watching yet another system that could develop across the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. This has a 30% chance of doing so over the next 7 days. So we'll be again watching the Bay of Campeche very closely. Meanwhile, off the east coast of the United States, I'm watching another system. Here it is. See that little bit of a swirl near the X marks the spot there, and that has a 20% chance of development. Very slight chance as it continues moving towards the west. Right now, very low chance. We'll monitor it. All right, so the current winds are looking at that easterly winds around over 20 miles an hour with sustained values even higher than that in some spots. And check out the highest wind gusts today, over 40 miles an hour recorded at Lakefront. The wind advisories are going to go until 7 o'clock this evening for those easterly winds between 20 and 25, occasionally gusting over 35 miles an hour. And keep in mind, because the winds are so strong, pushing on that onshore flow across portions of southeastern Louisiana, this is why we're still under the coastal flooding until at least 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So getting back to the bigger picture, we'll see some of those showers that will continue to move their way towards the west, dissipating here as we head into this evening. Still left over with some passing evening and overnight cloud cover, though, throughout the night. And then more showers could develop off that strong easterly wind. So we probably will be looking at the same effects as we had here today. Some of those gusty showers that continue to roll in from the east, and that continues as we head into tomorrow afternoon here as well, before beginning to come to a close as we head into tomorrow night with some spotty showers and maybe a couple of cloudy skies here and there. Now, heading into Friday, we may see a couple of showers and a couple of storms that may develop across the South Shore here yet again, and this is some leftover moisture that we're still dealing with. But your WDSU first warning 7-day forecast showing that we do have those high temperatures picking up into those low 90s. First day of summer as we head into Friday too, by the way. Saturday and Sunday, high temperatures, low 90s, and another chance of shower storms possible Monday through Wednesday of next week with low temperatures in the 70s.